Hi, this is Tom Santos with Lesson 2 of The Flour Detective. We're going to be talking about the function of water and weighing products, and this is really important for the consistency equaling quality. So let's talk about water. The function of water obviously is hydration. You take flour, sugar, salt, put it in a bowl, mix it with yeast. Nothing's going to happen until you add water. So hydration is the number one thing water does for any mix or batter. It's also a solvent which will clean up the bowl and put everything together. But what people really need to understand, and as a flour detective you could help customers, is temperature control. Between weighing ingredients and temperature control, that is 95 to 98% of the problems I get on my phone, especially when the weather changes. So I'm going to talk about temping water a little bit. And you'll see when you're out in the field, usually this will come up when the seasons change. So if you're looking at spring to summer, all of a sudden the temperature gets really hot, or sometime in October to November when the temperature gets really cold. Folks who don't temp their water will have a problem. You'll get a call saying there's something wrong with the flour. It's not the flour, it's not the yeast, it's probably they haven't temped the water. I'm going to talk through a little bit of math, but we have, and I know it'll be in the video, we have an actual sheet that shows you how to calculate dough temperature. When I'm talking about dough temperature to a customer, I try and make it as easy as possible. We say you want a dough temperature of 80 degrees, and there's 3 factors in calculating a dough temperature. So you take 80 degrees, multiply it by 3, that's 240. Take that and put it to the side, 240. So this is the most important thing you could give a customer. If a customer doesn't have a thermometer or a working thermometer, this is a $15 to $18 investment that'll save them a ton of time. And again, I've been doing this for 40 years, and when I first started, I didn't use a thermometer. But it only takes an extra 30 seconds to temp everything. And that 30 seconds will give you the consistent dough you have every time. When you temp your dough, or you temp your ingredients going into your dough, it's always going to mix the same. You're going to have the same temperature every time. So say there was flour here, and I'm just using the room I'm in, it's 74 degrees. If I temp the flour, let's pretend that's 74 degrees. The other third thing is called the bowl friction. That's a constant. It's always 30 degrees. You add those 3 together, it comes to 178. You take the 240 minus 178 is 62 degrees. So to get an 80 degree dough, you use 62 degree water. Little math, but trust me, the flour temperature chart, 100 times easier to use. You would just go 74, 74, and boom, it would come to 62. I want to talk a little about, I get a ton of questions every time I'm at Pizza Expo or speaking to a group about New York water and the hardness of water. I've heard that people, they get tanker trucks of New York water to make bagels down in Florida. I don't know how true that is. If they do, they're paying a lot of money to bring water to Florida. Usually the effect on yeast is the minerals or the salt or the hardness of the water, and that could be done through filtration. So you really don't need to get a tanker. If you want to make New York pizza down in Alabama or Florida or Texas, all you need is the water filtration. So I want to show you a little thing about temping, okay? Here's a thermometer, and obviously it's on. 64 degrees in the room, I would temp the water. Now, we talked how important temperature control is. The second questions I get the most are, I'm having a problem with the dough, and it has to do with scaling. So I'm going to turn on this scale, and I want to show you something. If you're weighing out something, and it's just cycling through, this is a tear. Always remember to tear the scale. And I could give you horror stories about not tearing the scale, but always remember, here we go, we're going to tear it. Now, if I weigh out something, 16 ounces is always 16 ounces when I weigh it out. It doesn't matter if I weigh it out or 10 other people. On the scale, it's always 16 ounces. But if you have somebody who's using cups, and I tell the story about people who use a Dunkin' Donuts cup or a Starbucks cup to separate it. That's just not accurate. Now I have here an official 1 cup. It says 1 cup. So 2 of these should equal 16 ounces. And if I had 5 different people in the room, this would come out 5 different ways. So I'm going to put in 2 cups, and I'm going to do this twice just to show you how much it could be off one way or another. So I just put 2 cups there. It's just under 13 ounces. And that happens all the time. Multiply this by 26 pounds. If you're using 26 pounds of water and you're off 5 ounces every time, 26 times 5, the math's about 130 or something to that extent. And just to prove that, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. You'd think I could get a little closer than 12, but if I do it again, I'm going to come up with another one. I might even come up with 16. You don't know. So the last time was 12.95. This time I'm just under 14 ounces. Always remember, 16 ounces is 16 ounces. 2 cups, we were off 3 ounces on 2 shots. I could be recording this video for another 10 minutes before I hit 16. Very important, the weighing of the product and how it could change it. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at tom.santos@genmills.com.